Alright, hello everybody. My name is Bill Kafer. You may know me as Taco Bill. Hopefully we're going live here for our Game 2 here that we're streaming. Game 2 of the top 16 in the 2023 OCS between Jeff Lavigne and Justin Branch. Get everything set up here. Alright. Somebody in chat can let me know that you can hear me, see me, all the above. As soon as you join, that would be great. Thank you. All right, so we see this is, like I said, Game 2. Jeff Lavigne won Game 1 by 17. He had QMC versus Justin Branch's ISB. Ended up winning on a beatdown after barriering a reacting Stormtrooper patrol, if I remember correctly. And now we're into Game 2. So 17 not insurmountable, but certainly a challenge. We see the players have the table up here. So Jeff playing dark side here is going to be on Endor operations. Justin playing light side here is going to be on Echo base operations. And yeah, Dylan points out in the chat, we've seen this matchup once before. I've casted this matchup once before, so at least I'm familiar with a lot of this. So Timo did win with Endor ops against, or excuse me, with EBO against Joe Olson's Endor operations. We expect that Jeff is probably playing a very similar list, if not the same exact list here. So we think potentially a similar result. It'll be interesting to see if Justin can win by 17 or what his build looks like. So the players getting all of their pregame things done here. So it looks like Jeff on his first turn has not pulled anything yet. But Justin has pulled a couple generals, so General Crix Maydeen and General Wallex Blissex. And yeah, Carl in the chat asking if can this matchup win by 17? EBO puts a lot on the table typically. Yeah, I mean it depends how lean he wants to go and kind of look at that threat that Jeff's gonna have in space. If it's very similar to Joe's list, it's probably what the Slave One, the Maul Sith Infiltrator, and the Emperor's Shuttle. So it's a lot of destinies, but Blissex is going to keep that limited to one. So you don't necessarily need to contribute as many cards to the table, and especially sometimes EBO puts a lot of systems on the table, and in this matchup I think you won't see that. I think this may be a 2-system game, so that's a couple other cards he may not put on the table, and then it'll depend on his ground package as well. Alright, so Jeff on his turn here. I want to confirm that he did any methods necessary. I'm pretty sure he did based on his start. Yeah, started any methods necessary, took 4-LOM into hand, took the security tower into hand. I know we discussed when we were talking about that, maybe you take Boba Fett and the ship into hand, but Jeff choosing to cycle cards. So we saw he had we must accelerate our plans to get the bridge out. We've got Ozzel down to the bunker, which he pulled with Endor Shield. We've got established secret base deployed on the bunker. That's going to go ahead and pull an Endor battleground site, so he grabs the forest clearing here, and we also see him play a second grabber as well. And then Justin on his side, like I said, had pulled a couple generals already with strike planning, also starting Walkling and a new secret base, pretty standard for EBO. Alright, so Jeff here just Ozzel and draw, it looks like. Interesting he didn't put down 4-LOM. I wonder if he's trying to prevent Justin from restraining bolting 4-LOM and waiting until he gets a ship. Alright, Justin here on his first turn using a new secret base to grab the War Room and the Echo Corridor. Jeff using his second Endor shield pull to grab Grand Admiral Thrawn Virtual. So 9 force here on turn 1 for Justin. Alright, so down come those 2 Echo sites that he just pulled. There is Blissex to the War Room. There is Crix Maydeen to the corridor. And I know I said his name earlier. That's not necessarily the typical one. You might see General Ryakan get pulled here. Crix is going to pull a scout right now, so that's going to be interesting to see how that's going to play out. One of the scouts he can pull is Lieutenant Blount, who is a spy who can go to the bunker, so Jeff will need to be wary of that. Instead, he's pulling Major Brenderlin, virtual, who does deploy free to Hoth. So that's a reasonable card to grab as well. Dylan in the chat. Maybe his hand wasn't good and some important stuff active. He doesn't need to risk something like Joe had to after game 1. Yeah, I can see that. I do think Joe went pretty quick in your game, so it made sense that he didn't do 4-alarm right away. But yeah, I still feel like 4-alarm turn 1 is a good way to cycle through and find kind of the cards you need to put this matchup out of reach. Justin here dropping down the Leia's Resistance Transport and Ray for free. So 3 for the transport. Transport pulls Ray. I wonder if he's grabbing... okay, he has Haven, which he did not pay for, so maybe that was in his hand. Maybe that's what he pulled. I was going to wonder out loud if he was going to pull the docking bay, if maybe he had Echo Base Operations in his hand, because he does have Brenderlin who deploys for free, but that Haven will get him an extra Destiny in Hoth in preparation for a potential attack from Jeff. Carl in the chat. I thought you had to move into the bunker from the back door. Blount can deploy there. Well, Blount's a spy, so he can deploy wherever he wants. Well, within reason. Alright, so here on Jeff's second turn, he activates 13, and down comes that 4-alarm we've been talking about. So maybe he did need to draw for something specific. Count Dooku is going to come down to the forest clearing. And yeah, if you haven't seen this Endor Operations deck from Jeff and Joe and Team 5, and I know Johnny Chu played it at Worlds, a similar deck, maybe not the same deck. It is heavy on some Force Lightnings and some mains with some support for space. It does not play its own system to take advantage of that Ominous Rumors that he just deployed, but that does help him flip and limit light side to 1 Destiny everywhere, including at Hoth right now. So here is any methods necessary to activate a force, and then Jeff is going to draw some cards. Justin will draw the bottom card of his force pile with Ray. And Jeff will pull Battle Order. So it's definitely going to be an interesting thing here to see if Justin can kind of whittle Jeff down while maintaining a 17 force life force. We already talked about earlier, somebody in the chat, I think it was Carl, said it tends to put a lot of cards on the table. I would agree with that, but if you can get some fast drains of 3, like he's going to set up Echo Base Operations here on turn 2, most likely he does pull the docking bay and EBO. So he'll be able to start draining for 3 at Hoth and potentially 3 at Endor until Jeff can set up resistance if he can. He is going to need to... No, I guess he doesn't have to. I was about to say he needs to go to space to do that, but he can do the forest clearing, the docking bay, and the North Ridge, so he can set it up without going to space. So it'll be interesting to see how Justin sets up, how lightly or how heavily Justin sets up in space. 2, what Jeff can do in space, or setting up resistance, and then 3, what Justin can do to get Jeff off of the 3rd battleground site or set up a battleground site of his own. All right, so interesting card here. Justin deploys Rebel Fleet. So Rebel Fleet deploys on your side of the table. Once per turn, you may cancel a force drain by placing here from hand any non-unique starfighter. So that's going to be big for Justin here to prevent a lot of damage, because that drain of 2 on the ground is pretty tough to deal with. So if that also tells me that Justin is running, non-uniques, we might see something like those the Red Squadron X-Wings, the Gold Squadron Y-Wings, or even just EBOX, right? Like it might just be a ton of X-Wings. That's going to be in stark contrast to the EBO that Timo was running, because Timo was running Luke and speeders and stuff to hold the ground, and then a lot of the unique ships in space. So this will be an interesting list to see play out here. Alright, so Jeff on his turn has 14 force activated this turn. He's going to put a card down with Forlom, figure out what he's going to do for his turn. I will use this opportunity. I've been instructed to give away some GEMP booster packs via trivia. So I did prepare a couple trivias this time. It was great. Look at me being prepared. I'm going to put this in chat and I'm going to read it at the same time. So the 2023 Jawa Cup is going to be played this winter. Look for it sometime in December. Where did J Lavigne finish in the 2021 Jawa Cup? So the first person to tell me what place he finished will win a pack on GEMP. Carl on it right away. 4th place is correct. He did finish 4th place. He lost to Kevin Yap in the semifinal. Finished 4th place. So great job, Carl. All right, so we see Slave 1 being deployed to the docking bay, but Justin is going to go ahead and barrier it, so it's not going to be able to move this turn. I think Jeff's plan here was to get Ozzel on board before that shuttles up. And we also see Darth Vader, Dark Lord of the Sith coming down to the North Ridge. Here is Resistance. So while he's only on 2 battlegrounds right now, that tells me he's probably gonna... I don't know what it tells me. Maybe he's gonna move Ozzel over and be able to forfeit Ozzel. And Forlom potentially. He still has 5 force to work with, so maybe somebody else will come down. Here is Free Ride and Endor Celebration played, just to throw it back into Life Force. Suspending a million voices crying out and an entire legion of my best troops, neither of which are in play. Alright, so Ozzel does move over, Forlom does not. So Jeff here being a little aggressive, banking on the fact that Justin has to play a lot of non-unique ships here to get Rebel Fleet online, so probably a bit less of a ground package in this EBO. Still has a bunch of forfeit, right? So Ozzel forfeits for 4, the ship forfeits for 5, and he's power 3, so he covers 8 without too much worry there. That's more than 8, that's 9, 12 without too much worry. So even if, something like a Rey with a lightsaber comes down, still may not cause overflow, but it will cause Jeff to lose one of those few ships that he has. Potentially. Justin here grabbing Coruscant. I want to check which Coruscant it was because I was not looking. So it is Episode 1 Coruscant with a new secret base, activating 13, spending 3 to drain for 3 at Hoth. That force loss will be limited to 2 because of resistance, and so we see we must accelerate our plans, which came down from, oh wow, okay, this is fun. We'll put down with Forlom, and then Palpatine off of reserve deck. Silverglen playing a out of commission here to put one of those 2 cards out of play, and misses. So Accelerate gets put out of play, Emperor does not. Timo making a good point in chat. The fact that, well, Timo says, smells like anti-ISB with Crix to get Blount and Coruscant. Yeah, so I think that makes total sense to me. That's probably the only reason why you play that Coruscant there. And I wonder if this Ozzel move over to the docking bay with the ship as forfeit is a way to kind of hedge against Blount coming down, especially after the barrier. We see Justin playing 2 projections of a Skywalker, one to the Endor docking bay and one to the Endor forest clearing. So I don't know that I like the placement of those. I probably would have done one to the docking bay and one to the North Ridge and rely on Rebel Fleet to cancel that drain of 2 at the forest clearing. But maybe that's not the best course of action. Maybe you guys can figure out if that's right or wrong. I don't know. That would have been my immediate thought. Justin also coming down with Tantive 4 and Tally Lintra in blue 1 to Hoth, both for cheap. Excuse me. And then using 2 Force to move both of them over to Endor. I wonder if he saved anything there. Yeah, Starships deploy -2, but then he also spent 2 Force to move over. I guess he saved 1 Force because he also would have had to spend an extra 1 to deploy each. But yeah, now threatening drain of 3 at Hoth and 3 at Endor. With a light setup, like I said. Dylan in the chat, maybe he has some it's a hit. Yeah, and that's reasonable. Like, he expects to hold Hoth via, the fact that he can drop so much power for such little force. It's tough to go to Hoth at all for Jeff, so maybe that's what he's thinking is he can play it's a hit to cancel the drain at the North Ridge when he needs to, when he doesn't have a non-unique to cancel with Rebel Fleet. Alright, so Jeff here getting 14 force, puts a card back with Forlom, deploys Boba Fett onto Slave 1, deploys Grand Moff Tarkin onto Slave 1, gets Ozzel to embark onto Slave 1, and then presumably will fly up here to Endor. And yeah, Dylan, that's a good point too, that I forgot about if you put the projection on your own site, then it can be canceled by a Dark Time combo. Interesting move here, also moving Vader into the main power generators there for 2 Force. That's going to let him drain for 2 there because he will presumably occupy 2 battlegrounds and will not get canceled by Coward. Simple Tricks. Oh, Timo, so I looked up Dark Time because I wasn't sure. It says if opponent does not occupy a battleground site, cancel projection of a Skywalker. So it can get canceled at both places it went. All right, so I think that was a pretty good turn for Jeff. He was able to set up a drain of 2 here at the main power generators, a continued drain of 1 at the forest clearing, and then also got some power in space. Yeah. Justin here grabbing Tatooine with a new secret base, and then activating 13 Force. He's then going to spend 3 to drain for 3. Chat correctly points out that resistance is no longer in effect, so it will be a drain of 3. It's also interesting to see Jeff keep losing from his used pile, because those are cards he knows he put down. I mean, that's also cards he knows he can lose, right? Because they're not important enough to keep in his hand, so he can put them down. But he's going to want some high destinies at some point. He's already lost a 5 and a 6 there. So this turn he loses an Accelerate from hand, Masterful Move from used pile, which was formerly in hand, and a Darth Maul with Lightsaber from hand. Alright, we're going to see Justin here deploying Tycho in Green Squadron 3. I believe that adds a destiny. No, that's not the one I'm thinking of. There is Han, Chewie, and the Falcon. So we talked about a little bit about this maybe being a non-unique EBO, but it looks like it's probably a traditional EBO with maybe some non-unique characteristics. There's Luke Skywalker Virtual. That's going to be a big card, right? To be able to retrieve one every turn, especially when you need to win by 17 or 18. You'll have to forgive me. I'm trying to find the lost piles for the players from Game 1, but I cannot find it yet. All right, so we see what else just came down. Lieutenant Blount, we talked about him a little bit. He came down to the Tantive, and we'll see a battle here at Endor. So Boba Fett, when a battle is initiated at his location, once per game, he can exchange a card in hand with a card in reserve deck. Someone in the chat is, it's Tom. Hello, Tom. Tom's talking about having spins for Jeff. By that, he means a short-range fighter combo, where you can use the Watch Your Back portion to draw more than one Destiny. Currently, he's limited by Tom's favorite card, Wall-X Bliss-X. Currently, we're at 25 power for Justin, along with a Power Destiny and a Battle Destiny, and then 12 power for Jeff, along with a Battle Destiny. Jeff also plays Sneak Attack in response to the battle being initiated, so he's going to put a card on top of his reserve deck, so he'll know what that top card is. I will not be surprised if it's a 6. I'll be a little more surprised if it's a 5. Tarkin here is going to add 1. You'll see that it doesn't change just because Bliss-X is currently limiting. Here is Dark Maneuvers from hand to add 2 to maneuver and 1 to power if Slave 1. So let's see what the maneuver is here. The maneuver is 7 currently for Slave 1. Combined with that, 5 to 7 on top, we should see anywhere from 12 to 14 attrition from Jeff. Oh, wow, okay. Justin draws a B-Wing Bomber for Destiny, so that's a 3. So going to be, that was his Power Destiny, so he's Power 28. And then a second copy of Rebel Fleet for his Battle Destiny. That's 31 total. We're going to see Jeff use short-range fighters here. Any minute now. There it is, short-range fighters, so maneuver value of 7. And then draw his Battle Destiny, which he knows what it is because he put it there with Sneak Attack. It's a 6. So 13 in total attrition from Jeff. 3 in total attrition from Justin. Power difference of 5. So you might see Jeff here end up only having to lose, Ozzel and a card, plus that short-range fighter, so 2 cards technically, while Justin is ending up losing 13 force worth of attrition, right? And you look at someone like Blount is 4, Tycho in Green Squadron 3 was 5, Han Chewie and Falcon's 8, that would cover. And we'll see here what Jeff's going to do. I'd probably end up losing Ozzel in 1. So he does forfeit Ozzel, so Ozzel will cover 4. There goes Han Chewie and the Falcon. Jeff will have to lose 1 more card. It is any methods necessary from reserve deck. So yeah, not the most effective battle for Justin here. As Tom points out, that Dark Maneuvers was huge. That means that Blount and Tantive couldn't cover. And yeah, if you just lose Blount and Tantive from that battle, you're in decent shape. Because then you still have Tally, you still have Tycho, and you still have Han Chewie Falcon. But having to lose Han Chewie Falcon was pretty big there. They're currently tied in power. It's 11 to 11. I wonder if this is a turn where Justin kind of licks his wounds a little bit and moves Tantive and Tally back to Hoth. And then is able to cancel the Drain of 2 at Endor with a B-Wing, and maybe cancel the main power generator drain with It's a Hit. We'll see. Alright, it looks like the only notes I have on the lost piles are 8/28 from game 1. Right, sorry about that. Yeah, so 8 in lost pile for Jeff, presumably 28 in lost pile for Justin. So I'll get that up on the board here. Slide that over here. All right. So we're still waiting here. It's still Silverglen's turn. He declines to move and moves to his draw phase. So he's just going to leave Tantive and Tally there. Carl in the chat asked, do you keep marching Vader in to kill those scrubs? I think if you're Jeff, you want to push damage here. All you're going to do is make Justin use 1 extra force to move his guy away, right? It's not really doing much for you, and you lose that drain of 2 that he currently has. I would much rather keep that drain of 2. All right, so we see secret plans pulled for Jeff also. I also saw Tom mention in chat that if Jeff is playing much anger in him, Luke is currently on the table, and that could swing this game a bit more. So that'll be interesting to see if we see... He did lose a Maul from hand already, so I wonder if he has at least another one and is counting on doing that. All right, Jeff activating 15 this turn is going to drain for 2 at the main power generators. That's going to get canceled by a Rebel fleet by a B-Wing bomber. Let's bring up the B-Wing bomber here. I know it fires 2 weapons. So it may add 1 pilot, suspends permanent pilot. Permanent pilot provides ability of 1. It may fire 2 or more weapons during battle, and each of its ion cannon weapon destiny draws are +3. Here is a drain of 1 at the forest clearing, and Justin is going to lose Coruscant from hand, so definitely keeping this at 2 systems. Here is the Emperor's personal shuttle coming down to Endor. Golden Rod Shield has already been pulled. So if he does play that Emperor, there it is. That's going to cost 2 force. There is Grand Admiral Thrawn as well, that we saw him pull with Endor Shield earlier in the game. P-59 comes down to the North Ridge. Justin going to use Rey to draw a card from Force Pile. There is Black Sun Fleet as well. Yeah, this is not... I mean... Oh yeah, because Blissix is offline right now too, because there are not 2 snub fighters there, right? Yeah, while at a war room at systems where you have 2 piloted snub fighters. So yeah, chat was talking about Red 8 perhaps coming down as a react, but Justin using that 1 force means that that won't happen. So now Jeff is able to draw 4 destinies. So 1 from Tarkin, 1 from Fett piloting, 1 from ability, and 1 from the Emperor. So the first one's a 5. Next one's a 5. Third one is just a 1. That one's going to get redrawn with Tarkin because it is less than the number of Imperials there. So third one is now a 4. Fourth one is a 7, just for good measure. So what's that? 21 total battle destiny plus 15 power, so 36 here for Jeff. Justin currently at 14 and draws a 2 for battle destiny, so he's going to be 16. That'll cover up to 27, 32, so he is going to take overflow here. Does have 20 battle damage remaining. So tally covers 5. Blount covers 4. Tanev covers 7. 4 battle damage left. Tatooine from hand. Naboo from hand. That's a lot of systems. Wedge from used pile. And Strike Force from reserve deck. So Silverglen currently with 7 in hand, 20 in life force. Jeff currently with 25 in life force and 4 in hand. And it is not looking great here for a win by 17 or 18. Justin here with 13 force is going to Ray one of those cards, so down to 19 in life force. We'll spend 3 to drain for 3 at Hoth. That is going to be limited to 2 because Jeff is back on 3 battlegrounds, so it's Force Lightning from reserve deck and a Restraining Bolt from reserve deck. Going to use 1 force to retrieve Strike Force with Luke Skywalker V. Going to put back a 5 with Free Ride combo. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if he is going to be able to contest any of these locations. So here's Yoda, Master of the Force. Here is a B-Wing bomber from Rebel Fleet. That is Rick in the Queen's ship for 2 force to Hoth. And we have a battle here. P-59 is going to shoot at Yoda. I know that Phantom Menace is floating somewhere, but that's the Dark Maneuvers instead. So that'll be a miss. Both players will draw Destiny. Justin draws a 4, so total power of 10. And enough to crack P-59's immunity. And Jeff draws a 4 also, so power 8, so we'll have to lose P-59. So Justin with 1 more card in force pile. I wonder if he moves Yoda. You can consider moving Yoda in front of Vader just to block that drain of 2, but also keeping Yoda at the North Ridge allows him to satisfy battle order for the time being. Jeff here activating 2, pausing and using Forlom, and I think that's where that Phantom Menace is, so maybe we see Maul come down here this turn. I'm not 100% sure though, because I was not paying that close of attention. So Jeff here continuing to activate, so 15 total. Has 16 in his force pile. Jeff gonna drain for 2 at Endor. And that got canceled by an ARC 170 Starfighter onto Rebel Fleet. Gonna drain for 1 at the Forest Clearing. That's going to get an out of commission from Justin's reserve deck. and then drain for 2 at the main power generators, which is going to be It's a Hit, and that's going to get grabbed by something special planned for them. So not able to loop that. Here is Kylo Ren with lightsaber coming down to the North Ridge. Here is Darth Maul with lightsaber coming down. So the Theed Palace version, not the virtual version. Going to look through his reserve deck, make sure those destinies are all high. We know that there's at least a 4 and a 6 in there. Shuffle that up to the top. You're ruining the suspense here, Tom. Justin's teammate pointing out in chat that there is no Hoojix in the deck. So this could be it here. Here is Darth Maul with lightsaber to swing at Yoda. Draws that 6 that we knew was in there. That's the Dark Maneuvers. And a 1, so that first one's going to miss. It's a little bit of a break there. Going to use Kylo to swing the second time. Interesting. Probably knows the rest of his destinies at this point. Knows everything else hits. There is a 6. And a 4. So that is going to cause Justin to have to lose a force to Kylo with saber. Yeah, and Justin resigned to his fate now that he's been hit. There's the Arc 170. And then a concession. All right, so J Lavigne winning the match, winning the game, winning the match. Moving on to the top 8 of the OCS. The players in chat talking about how perfectly that went for Jeff, and I'd agree. Having that Dark Maneuvers, like Tom points out in chat, in Twitch chat, is correct. If that Blount Tantive would have covered, he probably would have been fine. But yeah, so J Lavigne moving on, top 8. He's going to face Sam Tashima next. He already defeated Bill Pittman. So you'll catch that at some point later in the week, maybe next week. I forget what's going on with that break for the Endor Grand Prix. But definitely look forward to some more coverage tonight on the main channel. I think there is 2 games tonight. And forgive me, I do not remember who they are. Somebody's playing 2 games tonight, or at least 1 game tonight. I think Matthew Harrison Trainer and Justin Desai. And then we'll see more coverage tomorrow night. Also on the main channel, we're going to see Mike Kessling play his games against Jared Napolitano. And then probably the second game of Justin Desai and Matthew Harrison Trainer. And then look forward for later in the week. I think Dan is going to do Holo Theater from the Endor Grand Prix on Friday. You'll see some coverage on Saturday. I know Chris Gobelin is going to do some coverage. Garrett Larson's going to do some coverage on Saturday. And then I'm going to try to do some coverage on Sunday of day 2 of Endor. So definitely a lot of coverage coming up this week. Look forward to seeing you. Look forward to having you join us. Thank you guys for joining me today. And may the Force be with you.